Okay, so we're going to start making our tag journal book. This is one that I did for a class. You can see it has a metal cover, fabric, decorated the binding with fabric, has different sections, and has tags inside that you can journal on. And so the first thing you need is an old book. You don't want to get one that has pages that are too brittle. You want them to be pretty malleable, because we're going to be doing a lot of distressing to them, and if they're too brittle, they're going to crack and crumble, and it's just not going to work for you. So make sure if you get an old book, it doesn't even have to be an old book. It can be, an old hardback. It should be a hardback book, because you're going to need these covers. You're also going to need some metal pieces. You could use anything. Sky's the limit. If you find something that you think will work, but you're not really sure, or you're stuck, just send me an email and maybe a picture of your item, and maybe we can brainstorm and go from there. So today, for this book, I'm using two old door plates. And so you can use any piece of metal you want, or you could use a bunch of little pieces of metal and collage them on your hardback cover. There are a lot of different ways you can use metal for your cover. So what you're going to do is, if you have a solid piece of metal, you just lay them on top of the book pages, and you're going to begin to tear. I'd say get maybe 3 or 4 pages at a time. Tear when you're this close to the edge. It's kind of hard to get a hold of them, but you just keep working at it, and you hold your metal down, and then you can use it as a tearing edge to pull these other pieces up. And you just keep tearing all your pages like that. Get a nice torn edge, and it's going to look really cool once we start distressing it. It's always a good idea to find a book that is a little bit larger around than your metal pieces. So it's good to find your metal piece first and then find your book afterwards. Continue to tear all these pages. If you get farther down and you're having trouble, you can move your pieces farther back in the book. That way it's easier to get a hold of. Continue to tear all these pages. This kind of takes some time. I like to pick books that are not really that thick, because once we start distressing these pages, they fluff up pretty good. So, it won't be as thin as it seems by the time you're done. It'll be quite thick, so you don't want to pull up an encyclopedia and, go to town with that, because it'll take you forever. And by the time you're done, it's just going to be very unwieldy and very thick. You could go for a thick book, and that might be kind of interesting, but it's going to take you a long time to get all the pages torn and distressed. So going to make a nice big mess for you. You can save these scraps that you're pulling off, and we will reuse them later. Move this section over. Does make kind of a big mess. It's probably a good idea to have a trash can or a trash bag handy. Move this section over. And continue to tear. Now we've gotten to the end of this book. Okay. Few sections that I couldn't get torn off, so I'm just going to take those off with my fingers. Just tear at it and they come right off. Well, if you want them a little bit more rough, you can take a pair of scissors and just really kind of rough up those edges. The edges are pretty rough. I don't have to do a lot of this, but just scrape it back and forth, and you can gouge at it, really get those edges real textured and distressed, and really crunch them up good and take out your frustration. Alright, so we have our first step done. This is made to fit our cover, and then you have all these nice rough edges sticking out around, and that looks really cool once we get done with the distressing. So I'll show you how to alter this cover so that it fits as well in the next step.